JB.
I'm Alex.
And welcome to 2Geeks2Mics.
We've been gone for a bit, and that's partially JB's fault.
Oh yeah, I mean it was on me.
I went
to
zeros
Cancun.
apart. But no, it was kind of me. I had some things, and then I missed one, and then the second week I was like, more things. And I put them off, and then I ended up just not doing it because I'm stupid.
Nah, I mean it's good. I feel like we needed a break. So much work that we do in a matter of hour.
I know this podcast is physically and emotionally draining.
Yeah. That's why he gave me all the work now. Now I have to edit. What a load.
He's got to edit for a minute or two. It's pretty stressful.
No, for you it takes like a minute. For me it takes an hour. Every time somebody's like pointing out something on the screen, it's just like, hey, make sure you go to audio. I'm like, oh. And I feel like they're annoyed with me. I feel like an old person every time I'm surrounded by this kind of technology. It's
okay. Thank goodness for Skype screen sharing, so I can help you through the process.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this, you probably already know, but we're gonna have to put our stuff on YouTube now because SoundCloud is not for poor people, and they have like a 2-3 hour audio limit, and we've passed it.
Yeah, we most definitely passed it. And then I was just like, the thought creeped in my mind, like, we should probably pay for it a little bit. And then I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. We're poor.
Yeah, I think it was like $15 a month in order to upload like as much as we want, and that's like per month. So I don't know.
No, and then the one that's lower or whatever is like, oh, you get an extra hour for $7. I was like, that's not even like worth it. Jesus.
Oh well, it's okay. It'll be a bit of a setback being on YouTube, I think.
No, yeah, like people have a problem with it because you can't listen to it unless you have Red on like in the background, which is kind of annoying on YouTube's part. But whatever, they gotta make that cash flow.
True. But we'll see what happens.
What are we talking about today, little Alex?
I don't know. I'm just here to provide the sex appeal. Oh, You're the brains of this whole thing.
Speaking of sex, sex is. We'll save that for when we actually get a good fan base going. All our current people suck, fucking. Bunch of nothing.
They don't deserve the sex talk yet.
Yeah, we gotta give them the rundown of the birds and the bees.
So what's this week?
I want to talk about nostalgia, which is kind of a weird topic, especially because it's not very specific. But that's what makes it a good topic, because I guess we could talk about just about anything.
And also, even when you tried to explain it, I was still not sure.
Google's definition: nostalgia.
So what about nostalgia?
I mean, one of the big things that's kind of weird about it is like how different we perceive some of the media we consume when we were younger, and how awesome it seemed then, and now it seems like, like, do you ever just like not want to even touch stuff from like a long time ago for like the fear of it not being as good as you remembered?
Actually, I don't think so. I didn't play a lot of video games or watch a lot of like movies that I really loved as a kid. So me personally, I've never had anything like that happen to me.
I feel like, because I recently got a GameCube, as you already know, but I recently got like a GameCube, and I've been getting back into old games, and I'm not sure whether it's because, I remember this from my childhood and I want to experience it again, or it's more like, I never really experienced it, because I remember it's like, oh man, I remember having that game, was so awesome, but then I realized I was like 5 or 4, so I never really played the games. I was just kind of on the sidelines cheering my brother on.
Well, same. Now that I think about it, I actually played quite a bit as a kid, but it never, kind of how you said, never just by myself. I was always watching someone else play because I was too young.
Yeah. It's the OG Let's Play. Just watching your sibling. Dude,
There,
and go.
no, nothing important here. Go ahead.
But then you also like, especially with like game consoles, where you remember like things that's like, oh, I should have taken care of my stuff. Like I realized that the just about everything I had, I like sold or like kept in like crap condition. And then looking back, I'm like, oh, that's just worth so much now, or at least sentimentally.
See, and then you don't like pirating it, like old, like the game, like you have a GameCube now, but you could have easily pirated it. Like, why didn't you?
Well, I feel like it's better on its like native console. Like you can use the controller. That's nice. That's always a good perk. And also, I feel like it's too big of a process for me because I'm so ignorant when it comes to computers. Even though like I have like oh man, I got this bomb GPU and CPU, even though it's dated for today's standards. But it's a lot of like that. It's just like nah, I'm too ignorant for this kind of things. I'd rather take the easy and expensive route.
I mean, I guess.
I mean, you could do that, or you could get Super Mario Sunshine on. Which kind of things aren't working well for it yet? Like in terms
For
of
the
emulation?
GameCube, for the GameCube games, very few.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think at this point, most games are pretty top notch. Each individual game requires its own like tweaking. Like you turn off something or turn on something, but it's like it doesn't. It's all like it has its own wiki page. It's like the Dolphin emulator wiki page, and you just kind of follow the steps it tells you, and you're like good to go.
Mm-hmm.
But the only games I've played for it are like, one of the Zelda games. I forget which one. Wind Waker, and then also Mario Kart for the Wii.
Mm-hmm.
But neither of those are GameCube games, so
yeah,
maybe it's different for GameCube.
and like I'm sure it becomes like a much more complex process as like time goes on. Like obviously, an 8-bit game is a chore to run compared to just about anything else.
If you keep up with like the emulation process for the new Wii U, like it's going pretty quick, but it's still like running like at half speed. Mm-hmm. Like Mario Kart 8 is still not very well, but it's getting there.
Yeah. Oh man, like, but could you imagine like once, like, games that would like you'd never expect on it? Like, well, obviously like console exclusives, especially, but like today's on a PC. But that's like years and years ahead of us, probably.
I don't know. There's a lot smarter people than us. Maybe they'll figure it out.
They'll find a way. Scientists always find a way. Scientists. They're the ones who are making emulated games. And then I remember like things like, man, I was really stupid. Like if we had like an N64, whether or not it was ours, I dispute. I just remember us having one at some point, but I don't think we had a memory card for it. And
no!
And then we would just like replay this, like a N64 Spider-Man game over and over and over again.
Oh my god!
The cringe.
That sounds terrible.
No, like older games don't even have memory, so it's just like, oh, you lose a certain amount. Like I feel like there's a certain point I can go back far enough. Like maybe, like once saving wasn't a thing, like things get very dicey for me because I feel like I wouldn't touch anything without like a saving process.
What, like Pac-Man?
Well, no, those are more like arcade, and you die constantly and things like that. Ooh, that beautiful voice crack. And I'm talking more like games with like stories. It's like you have a limited amount of lives, and if you lose all your lives, you start from the beginning. I'm like, Jesus.
That sounds terrible. Why would anyone want that?
It was a simpler time about several years ago.
Damn.
Well, I mean, that's how the original Mario is, isn't it? Like, you lose all your lives and restart. Unless I misunderstand how it is.
That's... maybe, I don't know. Probably. I feel like I should know more, but...
Well, yeah, I mean...
I don't.
That's also why... a lot of why I want to get into, like, the older consoles. Especially Nintendo. Because, I mean, growing up, I had, like, a console with, like, 3 games, and that was about it. But I've never really been into Nintendo. Like, I got, like, into gaming deeply in, like, 7th grade.
Back when you were a huge nerd?
Yeah, I went with I had wristbands. Some of those.
Did you wear wristbands?
They were like the rubber ones.
Oh yeah, you're grimy.
Grimy. Oh, and for show, like I had one of those, and then people were like, for show. I'm like, oh no. It's like
how
a
many
yellow
did
one.
you?
You know, too many. I didn't even watch Adventure Time a lot, and I still had a freaking belt of it. What a poser.
Oh, true, the belt ones from like Hot Topic.
Oh yeah, dude, I was all over Hot Topic. I was a weirdo.
Did you have more, or was that the only one?
I think I had like two belts. I think I had one of Epic Mealtime and that one.
Epic Mealtime. Does that guy still make videos?
Yeah, they do. You know,
like
I'm a pretty big fan. If they can send a little bit of something my way, you know, I'm always appreciative.
More belts.
More belts, please.
Man, that's so crazy. Think about this. At one point, like YouTube had Fred as the most subscribed person.
Hey man, you need to shut up. I don't like to dwell on the sad past.
I was going back through some of his old videos, and like I was watching one, and I remember watching it back then and thinking it was hilarious, and I was like, oh my god, like what is this?
I mean, looking back in general at ourselves and our decisions, you know, we all got a little bit, and this is probably going to get a little deep, hopefully, unless Alex shies away from dwelling on the past. But man, I was like, nah. Looking back, I'm like, nah, it's not that bad. And then I really think like, oh man, I wore far too many wristbands, and I wore too much Hot Topic.
How often did you shop there?
Oh, you know, too much. It wasn't like oh man, I'm punk. I just like, oh, it has pretty good geek stuff, so I went there and I got stuff. You know, I paid like triple the price. Whether was Amazon a thing back then? Probably.
Yeah, but probably not nearly as big.
Yeah, it's so crazy how quickly things become so massive.
Oh yeah.
You don't realize how like I was like, man, YouTube's been around forever. And I'm like, it's been around since like 2006. I'm like, ooh,
yeah, it's been like 10 years now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because back then, like, it didn't get big until maybe, 5-6 years ago?
Oh, yeah, definitely. They've started, like, especially, like, when money started to be a big, like, factor, and, like, oh, and then the production value got higher, and, like, videos became better and awesome.
Yeah, I think at this point, it's so hard to be, like, maybe not a famous YouTuber, but a successful YouTuber.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you probably, like, get squashed in comparison to a lot of, like, big ones who are already, like, have a strong foundation in...
Well, no, even that, but just, like, the entry level of quality you need has to be pretty high. Mm-hmm. Like, back then, many of the people who are big now started off in, like, their rooms with, like, shitty cameras that they bought for, like, $20. But now you have to have, like, a nice camera, a nice mic, like, a good lighting and all that kind of stuff.
And then, I don't know if we argued about this a while back, but I always have a big problem with, like, they gotta have a certain amount of videos out every so often. And it kind of annoys me with, like, it's an instant unsubscribe if you put a video, like, excessive. Especially, mm-hmm. like, news is one thing. Like, Philip DeFrank was awesome because he posts news 5 days a week. Or 4 days a week, and then one's another thing, and some of that stuff, whatever. But that's interesting. Like, I mean, it's very constant. But then when you post, like, 3 vlogs, 7 gameplays, and 4, like, skits or whatever, it starts to get a little out of hand. I'm like, oh, I don't want to watch that.
I think it's so funny seeing, like, some YouTubers, like, on their comment section, I'll see some people, like, if you don't post more often, like, I'm gonna unsubscribe. It's like no one cares. Like, shut up.
I know, like, you start to see it in, like, the excess that, like, the quality's degrading.
Mm-hmm. I mean, but for those guys, it's like that's their main income, you know. So the more videos, the better.
Yeah.
And maybe also, like, maybe they just enjoy, you know. Mm-hmm. To each their own. We might not like 5 videos a day, but someone's probably like, heck yeah, like, the more, the better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I understand the audience, but, like, me, I'm just like, nah, it's too much, especially... Although there are some YouTubers that like every other month they post. I'm like, damn. I think that's how Vsauce is right now, isn't it? Like they just post one, just all willy-nilly.
Yeah, he posts very not far in between.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, I remember Vsauce. You know, I'm pretty early adopter of Vsauce. You know, I'm pretty hip.
You were in it before he was cool.
I'm not sure whether that's the case, but I don't know when it was cool. I'd assume like 6 years ago.
I mean, it was. I assumed he was cool when he was posting like every 3 to 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like every 2 to 3 months.
Yeah.
It makes me sad. Like I'm just letting them stockpile, because there's like, if I watch them as soon as they come out, it's like, well, now I gotta wait another 2 months.
So you and Netflix pretty much, or any show on Earth. It's like I'll wait for when it comes out on Netflix, and it never does, and you die, and it's this whole big ordeal.
I hate waiting. Like the fact that I have to wait for a show to come out, like because usually what happens is I'll watch a show, and if it's like not completely out, by the time like the next season or episode comes out, I'll just like, I've moved on to something else. It's like, well, I don't want to watch anymore. I don't want to go back.
Do you think that's like a society thing, that we need things like fast and now? You know what I mean? Like before, people were like, oh, I guess like a show lasted 10 years, and now we're just like, oh, I'm not gonna watch that show. I'll just wait for it to finish. Or like people just run through entire things and then multitask, and they're on their phone and they're watching TV and they're.
Oh yeah, well, now that we have the option to get things as quickly as we can, like we've just kind of become used to it, or we prefer it.
I know people say like, oh man, you know, back then there was a real consumer society. It's like, no, it's a different kind of consumer. We do buy a lot of stuff, but we also consume a lot of media, like surprisingly like big amount of media. And like the accessibility is so awesome. Jeez, like I'm trying to think about the things you do day to day and how long it took, like 10 years ago or 12 years ago or something like that. Even though we were all infants.
Yeah, I was a pretty progressive infant.
Yeah, I was really doing my thing. Hey man, I knew the ABCs by like 1. I don't know if that's true. They say that.
I don't understand that people were like, I remember when I was 3. It's like, odds are, whatever you remember before 6 or 7 years old is not true.
So
like people don't realize that your memories get altered, and like, or you make up memories, and like, especially when you're super young, like odds are it's not true. Like I was talking to a teacher once, and he was saying how for the longest time he thought that as a kid he went to Six Flags as like a 5-year-old, and then he was so scared that he peed his pants, and then he told his mom about it. So when like, now that he was an adult, and then his mom was like, we never took you to Six Flags as a kid. Like, so he just like made this story up, and like, well, people will tell me like, yeah, I remember when I was in pre-K, this one girl did this, and it's like, nah, I doubt it.
No, I was actually talking to my friend about something that like happened in 3rd grade. Maybe that's a little more recent. Maybe that's like more like
fresher.
It's like fresher in our memory. But we were arguing about like how we remembered, like how we perceived something that happened, and precisely what, like who did what and what happened. I was like, that's not how I remember it, dude. He's like, yes. And it becomes like a matter of like what we tell other people or what we tell ourselves and what we want to believe. Maybe it's like that. Or maybe it's just like, I mean, shit happens, like you just stop remembering what happens and you just fill in the blanks with whatever you want.
Yeah. And kind of like how you were saying what you want to believe. Like as you're telling the story, maybe one time you'll leave something out, and then you'll think to yourself, man, I wish this would have happened instead. And then slowly your mind just kind of puts them together, and that's not what you believe.
No, yeah, like when you were talking about like people remembering when they were young, like once, like to be honest, by the time I was like 12 or 13, like things started to become like easily memorable. But like before that, like maybe it's just me with like terrible memory, and I have like I have Alzheimer's or something, and I need help, or like I don't mind admitting that like I don't remember that, or at least I don't want to be spouting nonsense that like might not even be true.
I just Yeah, and I'm not trying to say also that like whatever you remember as a kid is not true. It's just a matter that it's probably like slightly altered or if not like completely different.
Yeah. And it's the whole thing is kind of confused. Like I wonder if anybody's ever like you ever caught somebody like in the same situation like I was, where you're like, no, dude, that's not what happened at all.
I don't think so. I mean, I've caught people straight up lying, but that's because they're just liars, but not that they remembered it differently.
Hey man, I don't lie. I don't know if you're talking about me, but I never lie.
Honest Abe.
Honest Jabe. I mean, how often? Well, we talked about lying before, didn't we?
I don't know. Do you think lying is a good skill to have?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like, okay,
I suck at lying, by the way. I'm awful.
Like, do you think everyone should be, like, not skilled, but just like a good liar? I guess. Like, do you think everyone should have the skill of lying?
I don't think people should do it excessively, but like people should be good at it. Like, because life is a lot easier like that. It is. It is. I'm bad at lying, which makes my life very difficult. I'm brutally honest, or AKA I'm an asshole. I don't know, whatever you want to believe. It's like, I'm a very honest person. Like, so you're an asshole. I was like, yeah, pretty much in summary.
I have two friends, and they're both like brutally honest, but the difference is one of them like is just an asshole about it. 'Cause like one of them, like if someone's doing something like wrong, and let's say he asks for help, the nice friend, he'll be like, yeah, like you suck at this, like you suck, blah blah blah, you need to fix this. But the other one, like he won't wait to be questioned about it. Like he'll go up to someone and be like, hey, you're an asshole, I hate you, and you suck at this. Like he's very confrontational about it. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, I'm not mean, I'm just brutally honest. It's like, no, like no one asked for your opinion. Like you don't need to say what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't believe in like brutal honesty. Like I don't really think that should be like a case in like solving anything, because then first of all, you said that it causes like confrontation. Second of all, like it accomplishes nothing. Like somebody being like, oh, yeah, well, that kind of bummed me out. So I guess that moving forward, was that supposed to? I don't know.
Yeah, like I understand maybe if he was like trying to help, but he seems to like just enjoying telling people that they're bad at something, mm-hmm. or just being straight up mean to them.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no, like.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing when people say like, oh, if you're an asshole to me, I'll be an asshole to you. Like as a personal summary, I'm like, yeah, like that's not a really good conversation starter. I mean, I suppose that should be the case, but that's not how you should describe a person. Like, oh, like he's pretty cool once you get to know him. It's just like, so he's an asshole, like straight up. Like once it starts, I'm not having a good time, but
then you get used to it.
Then you get used to like. It's like, oh, he's joking, right? It's like, no, like this is him. It's like, oh, okay. I guess it's more like of a tolerant thing. Like, oh, he's pretty awesome, and then he's an asshole at the beginning, and then you get to tolerate him, and then I guess at some point in the middle you get like Stockholm syndrome, and then he's kind of a cool guy.
Yeah, Stockholm syndrome is when someone kidnaps you, and then you start to like the kidnapper. I don't know what you were. Well, I don't know what you thought I meant.
No, it's more like I was comparing it to it as in you know them long enough, so you kind of get attached to them.
No, dude, that's not
into their asshole
wrong
ways.
Syndrome, dude. Wrong syndrome.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is there another one where you start talking to people and they get you begin to like them over time?
I think it's called 2Geeks2Mics syndrome.
Oh, dude, that's definitely us. We're kind of annoying once at the beginning, but we begin to grow on you, like warts. You kind of become a party.
We should find a way to make audible heroin, and then lace it throughout our podcast so people become dependent on us.
And so what you're saying is ASMR. We're doing ASMR. We're starting to whisper to people. So, how do you feel about ASMR?
Well, I never got into it, but I understand why people like it.
It's kind of weird. people. Some people, not me. I don't like ASMR. ASMR's weird.
Oh yeah,
it's
no.
for a bunch of weirdos whispering. What a joke. Now ASMR, that stuff gives you the tinglies, and it's a pretty nice experience.
I don't really get the tinglies. Like, I understand how it can happen because it does happen in real life, but just listening to someone do it, like, it's not the same for me.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't expect it to be. I mean, it's not like I do it though, but who knows,
When did you stop? Just admit it. You love it.
Oh, dude, ASMR is so good. So good. Nah, I mean, I occasionally listen to it, but I try not to, be like, oh, it's actually kind of, I don't know whether it helps me go to sleep or the opposite, where I'm like, this is so nice, I should probably stay awake for longer to listen to more of it, or it's just like, that's so soothing, so I go to sleep.
Unknown. Totally unrelated note. Just thought I should switch it up a bit.
Definitely.
Did you hear about the new planet Earth?
Oh yeah, I actually did.
The BBC specials.
So you're waiting for it to come on Netflix? Is that what you're saying?
I wish. Do you know when is it coming out?
No, I have no clue.
Sad.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like documentaries are very low in terms of things for me to do. You know what I mean? Next to books and whatnot. I feel kind of bad, because mentally, oh man, I'm such a consumer. I love all kinds of things. I love reading. I like comics. I like games, movies, everything. A lot of things. Not everything, but a lot of things. And,
okay, what is... go ahead.
And then I kind of in my mind, I'm like, oh, definitely this is on top of what I need to do. I should probably start playing these games and start watching videos or whatever and reading comics. And then towards the bottom, it's certain things I should probably watch later, but I never get around to. Definitely one of those reading books. Like
Black Mirror. And what was that other show I told you about? Oh, Over the Garden Wall that you never watched.
It wasn't on my list.
I'm sorry. I'm no longer speaking to you, JB. But to anyone listening, Black Mirror on Netflix is a freaking amazing show.
So you act like you don't. No, at least the difference is when I show you a show, I at least fake the interest. Or when you show me a show, I fake the interest. But you're just like, nah, I ain't gonna watch it.
See, but that's worse because in my mind, I'm like, man, that means he's gonna watch it one day. Like, how exciting! At least with you, I'm upfront. I know I don't like it, and I'm just like, well, I'm not gonna watch this when I have other things to like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. I'm definitely gonna watch Over the Garden Wall soon. Once I get Hulu back again.
Bro, you said that.
Yeah, you're. No. At least I'm not a mooch. You little mooch.
Bro,
you leech.
I sent you a link to watch it for free online.
Free online? That sounds a little bit like that one little thing called piracy.
Yeah, but
that's a talk for next week. Winkety. That's what we're doing.
But you should watch it, and they hate you for not watching it. Over the Garden Wall and Black Mirror.
A friend of mine told me that they also were watching it. Shout out to N to the O to the E watching there,
No.
No. A friend of mine keeps saying the joke is just like, if your name is Noe, then why is there an E? Because there's no E in your name. It's like, oh, God. Stop. Dude, if I specifically reference people, they'll definitely watch. Facts. And if I say facts, that means it's true.
Put their name in the title, and they have to watch it.
Right.
We should just put every top 50 names in America.
And it should just be all our friends. Even though cumulatively, I don't think we have 50 friends.
Stop.
You're too
real. It hurts. It's too real.
I swear, I feel like some of the things we make fun of each other for, they're a little too deep. It's just like, damn. You
deserve it.
You always deserve it.
I think the problem with you.
Oh God, this is not a good way to start. The problem with you is your existence. You exist a little too much. You should probably stop doing that for a little bit.
No, you should stop that annoying habit you have.
The one where I try to start to talk and then I stop.
No, just talking in general.
Oh, dang. Breathing. That's also really bad when you have. I mean, you breathe a little too often.
So what have you been up to?
I've been like angry that about like all my systems are on the fritz, and I say fritz a lot, putting on the fritz. You know what I mean?
What do you mean systems?
Putting
on the fritz.
That's not even close.
Your PS what?
If you are blue and you don't know where to, no, come on. You never seen I think that one's in. You probably would know it from Baby Geniuses, but it's also in Young Frankenstein, which I know you don't know it from.
Yep, I've seen neither of those things though.
You ever seen Baby Geniuses? That movie was so bad.
I don't know how people watch bad movies on purpose.
Oh no! You see, that goes back to the nostalgia thing. I was an infant, so I didn't know any better. I didn't know that I didn't know there was such thing as a bad movie. You'd think like, oh dude, it's on a freaking disc. Like they put it on a disc. How is it gonna be bad? And on cassettes, some of it, like menos, the things are masterpieces. Every single one of them. You see the work they put into it? Jeez. I'm just too funny. I know. Hopefully one day, but
nah. I've just been depressed all week. So any sort of humor.
Just like the driest humor. You're like, oh, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
I was actually watching a comedy special on Netflix. I think it was like something Wong, the baby cobra one.
Yeah. Is she good?
It's like well,
she's a woman. Oh shit. There goes a quarter of our fan base. Oh Jesus, I don't think any woman watches this show. No, wait, that's not true. Never mind.
Did you just assume our audience's gender?
I made a joke that like somebody's like, did I assume your gender? Is like, did you just assume I have a gender?
I sexually identify as an Apache war helicopter.
Yeah, I'm a proud toaster.
No, what was I talking about?
Oh, you were talking about giving me money. That your trust fund is going directly to me.
How much do I owe you?
Oh, you know, about 4 GameCube games worth of money, and a memory card, if you could. No, I'll start playing a game, and then I'll just lose all the memory.
The one game I think you should eventually get is Luigi's Mansion.
Oh man, Super Mario Sunshine is one where like that I definitely get.
That one's fun. No, what was I talking about? It was important.
Oh, Baby Cobra, whatever, something.
Oh yeah, that's not important. But yeah, I mean she's alright. She has a few. She switches between like normal talking and then slightly stereotypical Asian accent. Like not accent, but just the way she puts her words together. Mm-hmm. Like, no, you don't have a apple. Like she'll say stuff like that, mm-hmm. And that's kind of like, I guess, stereotypically Asian.
I mean, like a lot of comedians do that. Like when the mocking voice, like.
But not even as part of as a bit, like.
Just randomly. Because
I assume that, yeah, like she randomly slip into it. Like not obviously, like she kind of still had the English well, and it wasn't as bad as like I made it seem. But she would occasionally like have a few words that sounded like that, mm-hmm. And I'm like, wow, that's just. Like I assume that's just how she used to talk, but she switched. But that has nothing to do with her comedy. She was alright. Like she wasn't great. Mm-hmm. The one I did like though, I saw 2 was Joe Rogan, the guy from Fear Factor.
Dude, oh man, I love Joe Rogan. Like I'm gonna go like say it straight up. I love Joe Rogan. His podcast is awesome. Although it's like it's crazy long, like 3 hours, 2 hours. I'm like, goddamn. And it's like on a weekly basis, and it's like, and then I'm just like, no idea what he's talking about, but I love it. I love you, Joe Rogan.
He's like all buff now in his newest one.
Oh yes, he used to be like, I mean, I'm sure he was like less built. He was like a little less built or like not as noticeable, but now he's like jacked. Holy hell!
Yeah, like I was watching it, and I was like, oh, who's Joe Rogan? Like it sounds familiar, so I started watching it.
You hadn't known Joe Rogan before. I don't know if maybe I didn't talk to you about it, but like, man, I was all over that guy's.
Well, No, I knew who he was. Like, I knew he was a Fear Factor guy. I knew I talked to him, but it didn't click because I was like, no, he doesn't look like that. But then a few of his jokes, he would like refer to himself in the third person. He'd be like, yeah, the guy from Fear Factor just making stuff up, and I'm like, wait, what? And then I searched up his name, and I was like, oh my god, like, it was so. It's so weird
Did
because
you see his new one or his older one?
his new one, where he's all buff.
Yeah, where he's all buff, Not the one
'Cause
wearing the funny hat.
Yeah, the old one's like from 2006, and the quality is not as good, and I'm just like, eh.
You ain't quality. If the game's not running at 1080p and 60 frames per second, pues is it even a game? Yeah. That's my mocking voice. I think we all have one. Like, I was talking about, like, comedians, like, Louis C.K. does, like, a mocking, like, ignorant person, like, oh my god, like, seriously? Like, generally, like, a white woman voice.
Yours is nowhere near his, but since I've heard it, I know what you mean, but...
Yeah. But I'm good at mine. Mine's kind of like
oh yeah, you're
like a
and then
person.
Mine is pretty much the same because of you. Like, we just kind of more.
I wonder who got it from who. Unless you got it from somebody else. Influences.
It's so weird how much other people influence, or at least me.
I like to not think so. I like to think I'm a very the kind of person who thinks for himself and doesn't think like. Oh man. But no, like I like to think so, but it ends up being more like, wow, just about every person in my life has an influence on me. Like, either like, oh man, don't want to be like that guy. Every opinion he says, like, oh man, I feel like everybody deserves to live. No, nobody deserves to live. Just say the opposite of everything.
It's so weird because I don't realize it until it's very excessive. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of a problem.
I mean, do you have anybody in your life in particular? Me.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. Say me. Say David. Now, like, I'm sure they're like older people who influence you. And we usually think, like, influence in one way, but, like, sometimes it's the opposite. I assume a lot of the time it is. Like, seeing people you don't like have certain opinions and you just flat out disagree with them, and then, like, just about everything they say, you're like, yeah, you're wrong. I hate you.
It's so weird. There are people that just straight up anything they do, I dislike. Like, they could be helping a homeless person, and I'd be like,
"You're really
see that bitch over there?
You're gonna film that? You're really gonna film that?"
Like, you're really gonna give a homeless person a pizza? What if they're allergic to cheese? Okay, what is wrong with you?
Gluten free, you jerk.
Like, I'm so angry at some people, and like at this point, I don't remember why I'm mad at some of them, and I'm not mad at them. I just don't like them, and it's weird.
Yeah, no. Like, it's always like, even like you were mentioning, like, the little things tick you off. Like, oh my god, they're why are they breathing? Stop.
I forgot which comedian's like, that bitch over there eating a cracker like she owns the place.
Yeah.
But no, it's okay though. I try not to be too angry all the time, but it happens.
It's so easy because I feel like we know too many people. Like, too many people exist in our lives. Like, I bet, like, years ago people were just like, oh, I have 3 friends and that's all I need on this earth.
Bro, the problem is there's too many people on this earth.
So what?
What's
either plague or, like, you want something along the lines of
eugenics?
Eugenics. You have to explain that one to me. My little brain can't wrap my head around.
I think it's basically like when you kill a whole ton of people.
Oh, you mean like a? Was that a? Is that like a genocide? But is genocide specific?
I think it's like eugenics. I think it's like when you kill a group of people that's like physically inferior, as in like people who are missing legs. Like, just kill them all. Like, why? And stuff like that.
But now this one's all willy-nilly.
Which one?
The one you were saying.
Which one?
Did you say eugenics? What did you say?
I said that and something else. Point is, there's too many people and someone's gotta die.
Yeah. Dude, we're eating this earth, man. We're really,
Oh
really
yeah,
running through it like a pencil. Like there's not gonna be anything left.
like a pencil.
Yeah, like we're just like.
No, eventually the Earth will be so bad. Like, yeah.
That's
And
why
then our
that's why mechanical pencils are good because then you can
we
bring more in and things like that. You know, it's not exhaustible as much.
we need a giant Death Star shaped Earth made out of metal.
Yeah.
And it sucks because we're like there's more money going into trying to get off this planet than trying to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Like Elon Musk is not necessarily like, oh fuck, like we're fucking it up. I'm sure that's kind of his motive.
No, yeah, I'm sure he's just like this would be an awesome thing to do and let's do it. Like I don't think he's. You'd wonder what his mindset is in and like why do we want to colonize Mars? Like
It's just so much technological advancement could be made if we get to other planets that have like resources that are like not as abundant here on Earth.
I never realized how insignificant something or like how significant like things are, in terms of like rockets and all that, and like it's so crazy complex. Like, oh man, we're gonna go to the moon. It's like, okay, you probably won't. Like a bunch of astronauts will, and you won't because you can't. Like you, if something screws up, they're gonna be like, all right, push the big old button on the left corner. It's just like, where's that? I can't even freaking. I was talking about it 2 minutes ago. I couldn't even see where the audio part is in Audacity or whatever. What makes you think I'm gonna click up? And what the hell's like? You think there'd be like 5 buttons? It's just like go up, okay, stop, and then slow down, and then speed
Wait,
up.
what are you talking about?
Like a spaceship. Spaceships are hella complex, is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, well obviously.
Or,
It's so sad though because like we got to the moon and then we were just like, well, we're done, and then we just stopped for like 30 years. We just didn't do space things. And like imagine if we would have kept at it like even just a little bit. Like
no. Like if Russia's just like we plan on colonizing the moon. Plan on colonizing Mars. Like the U.S. is like 5 minutes later. We already did it, guys. Guys, we've done it. But no, I feel like the U.S. is too competitive.
Yeah, we need someone else to like really compete with us to kick it off like the Mars thing even further.
North Korea? You think North Korea can do it?
Bro, don't even joke about North Korea. I'm very sensitive about that topic.
Oh yeah, like
I'm 132nd North Korean.
Dang. That, like specifically, like somebody from that region. Like that's not a race or like an ethnicity.
My pinky's North Korean. God,
what did
you not know how fractions work?
I fractionally care about what you're saying.
Well, bye guys.
It's been a ride.
Now, how much time we got left?
Hi. Why are you so eager? Eager to finish?
I'm trying to get out. I'm tired of your voice.
Yeah, my voice is just too much. So what? We change our change our voices, and people won't know it's us, even though they already know.
Yes. No, we should just rename the podcast because we're not on SoundCloud anymore. Like people won't see it coming.
Dude, we should just make it like 2Geeks2Mics, 2Geeks2Mics 2, 2Geeks2Mics 3. We'll just keep making infinite amounts of them.
Or, okay, like YouTube or SoundClouds. We could honestly, and then just not retweet it, but just like repost it from the original.
Oh yeah, you could do that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like you can.
Neato burrito. That sounds cool.
But now, we should just get Audible.com to sponsor us.
We'll get somebody to sponsor us.
We
both could easily shell the 15. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, but it's monthly. Yeah, we were talking about it. Like it's like monthly. Like really, unless we do like 50 podcasts in one day, which is not possible. But
what do you mean?
Because it takes an hour and there's 24 hours. That's not how it works. You know, like it's not.
I thought the limit would reset, like for SoundCloud, like every month.
I mean, I thought the same too, but
what if
that's not the case?
We'll talk about it some other time.
Yeah, I mean it's a whole big thing, and like let's try to get on Spotify. That was like one of our plans. Like, you gotta be big for that too.
Yeah, like it's weird to get on Spotify. You have to pay a third-party website to get into like their database, and then from there, Spotify adds you. And so like this whole complicated thing, and I'm just like, nah.
I'd rather just put it on YouTube and limit our like follower base, unless it's bigger because I more people on YouTube. So,
But
it's all about adding those scandalous tags, like 18 plus or something like that.
18 plus. Are we gonna talk about sex now?
That's definitely gonna be our next week topic. We'll talk about sex. Oh yeah. Only for the hardcore viewers. Man, some of my teachers watch this show, or one of them.
Doubt it.
No, like they do. They told me.
Yeah, never mind. Can we shut this down? Can we start over? I need to censor myself now.
Screw censorship. Oh shoot! I should probably write that one down. Do I have that one? I have like a list on memos of podcast topics. And censorship seems like a really good one. And yeah, I don't have it. So that one might be good.
I mean, let's talk about it now.
That's too long. Like that's a whole big topic.
I mean, that's what we like to think, and then we stop talking about it 5 minutes.
What do we start talking about again?
I don't even remember.
Nostalgia, and then we start talking about other stuff. I love this podcast because I feel like every other podcast is so concise, and we are not.
That you know that thing that makes other podcasts good? Yeah, we don't have that.
Yeah.
Woo!
Well, no. I think the other thing that makes them good is quality. Everything else, like good equipment. They pay for stuff and they make it on every platform. They're more than two guys. Consistency. You know, not taking 2 weeks hiatus, you little jerkwad.
Yeah, I needed to refresh my juices.
That's true. You gotta start up. So now we're gonna make it a habit. We make 3 episodes and then 3 breaks and 3 episodes and then 3 breaks.
2 breaks. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Don't make me seem forced. Yeah. We should. You know what? Heck, we should get a guest next week.
I don't know, man. I don't know if you got anybody you'd want to bring in. I know I got a bunch, but they all suck. I mean, my viewers are great. They're great people. I love them. But it's also a matter of finding people who are like,
interesting.
Yeah.
You're right. We'll talk about it some other time.
So what you're saying is I bring in a bunch of teachers because they actually have stuff to talk about.
We'll see. We'll discuss it and just look out for.
Dude, what if they know more than us? Our ignorance will shine through and we'll seem like idiots.
Oh, definitely. They'll just overpower us with knowledge and we just won't have anything to say.
I feel like we'd also change our tone in general. Like we're not gonna be as comfortable. You'd assume.
See, okay, let's just get someone we both don't know.
Do you just get like
and then we'll just
let's just get on Omegle and then just randomly find like a dude.
Yeah, who doesn't have his dick out.
Yeah.
And we're just like, hey, send us your Skype name, and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah. And it's just gonna be like a guy who just skips you. And it's just like, but I'll make you famous. It's like, oh, I'll get into it.
Yeah, we'll send him a link to a fake podcast, or not a fake one, but one that isn't us, and be like, look, we're famous. You can be famous too.
And then we abruptly change our names for like 5 minutes, and then just like change it back. Gotcha.
We'll see. That'd be cool though, to get someone.
I mean, I'm very torn about the whole adding another guest. About whether
adding another guest.
Yes, another guest. You're really the guest here. I'm the one who's really running the show, pulling the strings and all that. You know.
I mean, I'm hopped up on chocolate right now, so your insults can affect me. Affect me. I didn't actually. The night of Halloween, I crashed like at 6 p.m. and then I wake up till 7.
You got into a car crash? Dude, that sucks.
My brain crashed. I feel like it's dumb. I feel like I feel like I've been overwhelming myself, but then as I look back at it, I'm just like, I didn't do anything. Like, it just felt like a lot.
Oh, yeah. No, like, I definitely have the same problem where I'm like, dude, this is gonna suck. I gotta really prepare. And then it happens, it's really easy. And I'm like, oh, well, that's about it. I mean...
I think the worst the worst for me is when I stay up late and I'm like, man, I got this big assignment that I gotta do, and then I stay up till 4 in the morning and I don't start until 4 in the morning, and then it takes me half an hour, and I'm just like, why do I do this to myself?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people spend more time getting worked up about work and more than doing the work itself.
It's weird.
If everybody, rather than complaining about it for about 3 hours, would just do the work for the 3 hours, they'd finish in like 20 minutes. Or they'd realize they could finish in 20 minutes.
Yeah, the problem with me is not that I'm like unmotivated. I guess yeah, it isn't that I'm not that I'm lazy, but like there's no direct motivation. Like I got a job this past summer, and like my mom was like, "Oh, but you're lazy. Like you don't do anything around the house. Like you never help." And I mean, I kind of do, but not that much. But then like when I got a job, like I was actually doing pretty well, and that's because there's motivation. Like you're gonna get paid. Like you're getting paid. Like you see the results pretty quickly, as opposed to homework where like you don't directly see your results until like 2 weeks later when your teacher finally grades it, and then it's like
I feel like I work not to succeed, but like out of fear of failure. Like I'm not just like, man, I gotta do well because it'll affect my future and all this other jazz. And it's more like, it feels really ugly when I fail.
yeah, it's weird because it's so easy to not fail, but then people fail their class, and I'm just like, you just gotta do your stuff,
Yeah,
like it doesn't have to be great.
You realize you begin to realize like you're not that great. Like you do the bare minimum sometimes, and you still do like way better than most people. Like that's me. People are like, dude, you're so smart. But in actuality, I'm just like, I just do the bare minimum, even though I should go above and beyond. And
I know,
listeners are probably gonna get mad. It's like, oh, JB, you got so much potential. Yeah, but it's whatever. I mean,
it's so weird. We're probably very disgustingly average
compared to the
human
real
being.
world. Definitely. Compared to the people we're surrounded by, we seem to be top tier individuals.
Yeah, I hate when people like compliment me.
Oh, people oversell me like a mofo.
So same, so much same.
I mean, like, I feel like we understand each other well enough. Although we sometimes are too nice to each other. Like, dude, you're so smart. It's just like, nah, dog. Like, we sometimes get caught in the middle of it as well in saying like, dude, you got like so much potential. It's just like, no, but I wanna have potential. I just want to be me.
Yeah, like people will tell me, it's like, you're so good at this. Well, I mean, I am compared to you guys because you guys don't try. But like compared to if you got like a whole room of,
I mean, you begin to wonder. Like, I feel like some people do try and they don't get good enough results as us. I personally study because I know I need to. Like, I'm fully aware of my capabilities, in my opinion. Like, I know what I can and cannot do, and what I can do and will not be happy with, or not be happy in general. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. Damn. That's weird.
This is pretty deep, yo.
Yeah,
dude, this is too deep than I was even expecting. It's just like, we're just like having thoughts about ourselves.
I'm 14 and this is deep.
It's too edgy for me. I'm sorry.
It's cool though. It happens.
Yeah, I mean, I hope this is some good insight for our people and other people about like who we are and how we feel about certain things. Because I feel like we can't say these things directly to people. Like, I can't just be like, dude, you have too high standards of me. Please ease up. Like,
yeah, like I can't just tell people like, no, you're wrong. Like, I'm not whatever you think I am. Like, I think people just really like take an honest look at themselves. Mm-hmm. Like, I get sometimes it's like for confidence, like you tell yourself you're good, but sometimes like
Yeah, no, I definitely believe that confidence is good, especially because I'm a very handsome guy myself. I'm fully aware of my looks and how the babes and whatnot are really all over me a lot of the time. But it's also about like understanding that you do have flaws. And I was really thinking about flaws recently, especially physical ones, and then you start to realize like, I feel like some flaws that I see in myself could be good characteristics in somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
As in, I got a wide nose, and I don't like it. But then I'm like, yeah, there are a lot of people who have white noses.
It's also a matter of just how you work with it, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Like, and I feel like the first step about it is like understand, like, or just like not having a problem with it. Just like don't worry about it. People like I definitely worry too much, but you know now that I'm a senior, the worry is gone.
You've got all that confidence.
Yeah.
That machismo.
It's mostly like, what do I have to lose? It's more like that. Like I would love to be top, like the valedictorian in my school, not because of the perks or whatever, you know, the perks. More like, could you imagine like having like getting the speech and just being like thank you, and then just walking off stage, like that would that'd be so litsky, dude. No joke.
Wait, so if you had a chance to do the speech, you just say thank you and walk off?
Definitely, no doubt.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a little bit weird because the valedictorian in my class, he's not well liked. Like he has his close group of friends, but overall, like he's not well liked because people
Dude,
see him.
You're tirando directas.
It's okay, he doesn't watch this, but I mean, people see him as a guy who.
How many of the people from your school do you really think you're going to catch up with afterwards?
Very few. Like, so few.
I mean, I guess generally speaking, it just depends how many friends you have, and you can probably divide it by like 4, and that's about it. You'll talk to like 1 1/4 of a friend.
Well, actually, you'd probably divide it by more because really it comes down to the only friends you're going to keep besides like the ones you want to keep, like okay, you'll probably keep the ones for a bit that go to the same school, just because you'll know you're going to the same school and you're just like, oh cool, like maybe we'll meet up a bit. But then it's also okay, then after a while you have different majors, so you take different classes, you kind of spend less time together, and then if you're like in dorms, you might not have the same dorm, so like it kind of really, but it all depends how much you like them. Like if you really like them, like you'll make the effort, but I won't.
I'll find a way not to put in the effort.
I'm the type of person that if someone stops talking to me, like I usually won't put in too much effort to keep that friendship going, which is kind of bad, I guess. Unless I really like them, then yeah, I'll be like, hey, what's up? Like, but generally, I just kind of like let it fade.
I never really have a problem with like one-sided friendships, or at least I hope not. Like me and you, like what if you're just like, I always have the fear that like somebody likes me, like, or wants to be friends with me because they feel bad. Like, that'd be, like, the worst feeling ever.
I don't... Yeah. That would be pretty shitty. I don't think anyone I know would want to put
No. You'd think that. That's the underlying fear. Like, I always have the fear that, like, you just feel bad for me. And, like, you can be like, oh, of course not, JB, come on, dude. But, like, but of course you'd say that. Like, why would you be like, yeah, dude, it's been a ploy this entire time. Or, like, I saw success in you, and I just kind of want to mooch off of it. Or something like that. Like, that'd be kind of crazy.
That was funny, because going back to the comedian I watched, the Asian, she was saying how when she met her husband that she's married to now, she was like, graduated from Harvard, he's good looking, out of my league, I'm gonna trap him. Like, she was like, I just want to mooch off him when he gets rich. And I was like, damn, she's lucky.
I think that's just about where we should end it off. Thank you everybody for listening.
Whoa.
What?
You know, have a bit of a wind down.
Oh, a wind down.
You can't just be like, well, it's the end. Bye.
I don't know. This is all very new to me.
You gotta emotionally prepare the listener. You know what I mean?
No, we just shoot them right in the face with the we're done. Yeah, enough. I don't want to look at you.
Oh, you're right.
Anymore.
You're right. Like a comedian, you say your final big joke, and then just like, thank you, Chicago.
Yeah.
It's been great, and then you walk off. No, that makes me sad. When I was watching the comedian, I kept like moving my mouse to see what the time is at, because comedians always just end it, and I'm just like,
I firmly believe to never look at the time for anything, because that sets your mind to like, oh, it's about to end, like especially in movies, then you expect like, oh, everybody's gonna die like right here or something like that, or
It gives you a bit of a time frame to make your assumption.
yeah, and then that's kind of bad, like at least for how I see it, but who knows?
Makes sense. Mm-hmm. But on that note, we should end it off. It was good. Had some deep talk.
Yeah. It was all over the place, but it was awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's been good. We'll have your ears next week, hopefully. Have a good time.